About 6 months after Kendall's first accusation, she was at it again.
This time it was against me.
Kendall called me from school and she was frantic. I immediately went to Kendall's school and the police showed up.
My dad got angry at me and he threw a book and 2 pairs of Converse at me. The shoes hit me in the corner of my eye. He picked up the book and he threw it at me and it hit me in the lip and it busted my lip open.
Kendall even showed us the book and the page where there was blood on it.
I thought to myself, well, one, he's finally got so pissed off that he threw something at her, or this just didn't happen.
And we're talking about a book, we're talking about a big book.
Size.
And this supposedly was thrown at her and hit her in the mouth, right?
That's her story.
Well, that was her story, and that was investigated.
Correct.
And forensically, they found some inconsistencies with that allegation, correct? And what were those inconsistencies?
When she stated that I hit her in the face with the book, the blood splattered onto the book when it made contact, and that's why she had the fat, bloody lip. When they opened up the book and saw the blood that was on there, they could clearly tell it had been smeared onto the book. It wasn't blood splatter. It was my wife.
Smeared.
Yeah, my wife actually walked in the night before all this blew up, after this had taken place, and noticed that she was wiping blood on the book, but didn't think anything of it until the next morning when everything went down at school and then CPS got involved. Then we realized, okay, she was basically setting up, I'm going to wipe blood on the book, then I'm going to go to CPS, I'm going to go to school, report it, set him up that he threw the book at me, and go from there.
Then Kendall made accusation number 3. She now claims that her biological father, Brent, molested her.
It just seemed to be getting worse and worse.
Jill and I decided to send Kendall to go live with some relatives for the remainder of the school year, get her a new environment.
When she moved in with the relatives, I have to say that I didn't feel very confident that she would be there long.
My relatives called and wanted to send Kendall back home.
Jill did have a conversation with her and said, if you come back, you're living with your dad, you're gonna go to his high school in his district, you're going to ROTC, and you will live with him full-time under his rules.
When Kendall heard that information or understood what the living conditions were going to be, it was a time for another meltdown and another smokescreen.
Then the next bomb dropped. Kendall got on the phone and was crying. She just kept repeating, I can't go back there, I can't go back to Dad's house after everything that has happened. And I was like, what do you mean? What has happened? Kendall said that her father would rub up against her when they were walking through a doorway or look at her while she was in the shower. I was disgusted.
I'm still in shock and heartbroken. The bottom line on these accusations of molestation, they're completely false. Now I'm under another CPS investigation for allegedly molesting my daughter.
Now, Brent, I've always said that the most dangerous lie is the one that has a kernel of truth. A kernel of truth. Can you think of or point to a situation where you have inadvertently walked into the room or brushed up against her, or something that she could point to, reframe, or reference in some way to spin as inappropriate?